Hello, and welcome to Heineken's Tech Insights, your podcast from Heineken Krakow. Throughout this podcast, we'll be sharing insights and learnings from some of Heineken's top specialists who are shaping the digital future of Heineken. Join us to meet our experts, gain valuable knowledge, and see how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. I am Mateusz Komander, your host, and I'm excited to introduce our next series, Securing the Future, about cybersecurity at Heineken. If you've ever wondered how a global brand like Heineken fortifies itself against cyber threats, you are in the right place. Welcome to the final episode in our Securing the Future series. So far, we've covered with cybersecurity matters at Heineken and how to build a career in this field. And today, we'll explore a little bit more technical side on penetration testing and maybe, as this is just important, how we foster a culture of cybersecurity and awareness across our organization. So, joining me once again is Bartek, our CSO. Hello, Bartek.
Hello.
Okay, so maybe jumping into the first topic, let's focus a little bit around the culture. So we know that cyber threats often rely on human error. So this is not always like the strict on brute force into our systems. And we know that employee awareness is critical. And maybe could you share how Heineken cultivates a security mindset among our employees, and what are the most common traps people may fall into?
Right. So basically, yes, as you said, it's very, very important that education, as we talked on previous podcasts. So, in my opinion, the education is very, very important. I've mentioned last week that we have an entire dedicated team called Security by Culture. Basically, they are responsible for fostering a culture of cybersecurity awareness among employees globally. But when it comes to local tasks, it's CSO scope. So I am involved in many of those awareness campaigns. We do conduct various webinars. Every new joiner in Heineken Krakow takes part in the induction sessions. Right? We have
for me well remembered the one that you ran. I had some nice examples from there. Maybe not to share publicly, but it was very, let's say, falling into my mind, I believe.
Yeah, glad to hear that. But we do focus on that, so that those sessions, those webinars are very interesting. Not just only dry technical facts, but we also try to add examples, real life examples, what happened and what we could have done to prevent it. So yeah, as I mentioned, we do have those dedicated IT and security related trainings for our new colleagues. For those colleagues from DNT is digital, stands for digital and technology, so it's basically Heineken IT, it's called DNT. We also have additional training because we know that IT it's more vulnerable when it comes to those security threats. Of course, as we talked during our previous podcast, we do organize those phishing campaigns. Last year we have conducted even a spear phishing exercise locally. Spear phishing is a more targeted phishing, more sophisticated phishing in which we used spoofing. Spoofing means impersonating, and basically we use the email address of one of our management team members, just to show our employees that it is not you cannot consider an email to be safe when it came from your boss or from somebody that a management team member, because everything can be spoofed these days. What else? I really love a password manager topic. password managers tools. In my opinion, in today's security reality, it's really hard to manage your credentials, without those tools. We also share with our employees the good practices, interesting tools, interesting websites that they can use to strengthen their security.
Yeah, I believe part of the induction that you are providing is also the example of how important it is to have long enough and complicated enough password. Yeah, I don't recall now the numbers of combinations or how it takes, but I think if you add like few letters more, I think it's because it's important how long the password is, not necessarily how complicated it is. It may actually save you for being hacked, or being brute forced.
Yeah, that's true. The length and the complexity rate of password is very, very important. You probably have seen a lot of memes and jokes, right? That those password requirements are being preposterous. Like I've seen those memes that your password has to consist of 20 characters. Uppercase letter, lowercase letter, number, a drop of unicorn blood, something like that. So people make fun of that, but if you understand why it's required, why the complexity rate and the length of the password is important, because if it's not long or complex enough, it can be brute forced within even seconds or minutes, right?
That's true.
So basically, this is very important to educate our users not only what you have to do to be secure, but why you have to do that, right? Because if they understand why how it works, how the mechanism work, they will remember that, they will understand that better, and hopefully they will live by that and use that in their daily tasks.
So let's move maybe a little bit outside of the corporate area, but I think one of the most popular mistakes that many people may do is that if you are buying a new router, you are not changing the default login credentials to the router.
That's right. So basically, this is a good thing to know, because if you yourself configure your own home network and you have a new device, so basically those devices by default have admin credentials, right? Admin. Those credentials are the first thing that attackers check, right? Yeah, it's very important to change those credentials, and not many people that are not that tech savvy, they don't know about it, and it's a huge backdoor that they leave to their entire local network. Nowadays we do so many sensitive operations online, like online banking, so on. So we need to make sure that our that there is not a huge backdoor to our network. So that's a good example. So things like that, we want to educate our users, and we want them to understand it and to live by those rules.
Yes, exactly. And maybe navigating from that a little bit back to our reality. So maybe if we could focus a little bit about some sort of penetration testing in Heineken Krakow. So I know you won't be speaking about specifics, so whomever is listening, we are not we are not social engineering ourselves. But if you could maybe share, not from our examples, but maybe if you could share with our listeners what or how in general those kind of penetration testing or penetration testing, let's say, scenarios look like in general, because I believe there are some scenarios that each company are usually following, and out of that you can take some outcomes and some learnings.
Sure. Yeah, we are expected to conduct those IT security penetration tests every few years, and yes, we are doing that. So, in my opinion, it's the best way to perform those is to start with hiring an external auditing company, right? Because we can here in Heineken we also have teams that deal with those penetration testings, but basically it's when it comes to such scenarios, it's best to leave it to somebody from completely different approach, to somebody who doesn't know our infrastructure. So basically, first thing, in my opinion, good idea is to involve somebody from outside of the organization, because they have quite fresh point of view. When it comes to penetration testing, we can divide those in a few categories. So first of all, socio-technical testing and physical security measures. So this one is being conducted to check our physical security measures in the office, right? How it's protected, how can somebody from outside can breach it without the knowledge, the internal knowledge of it, and socio-technical testing. So when they will be able to breach it, maybe they will try to approach some employees that are sitting on open spaces. They try to just to plain speaking fool them, right? To give them some data. Another parts of those penetration testings, obviously network test, WAN and LAN and wireless networks in the office. Those need to be tested. Our internal networks, our external networks, guest networks. Those basically a team of experts. They are checking all the corners of our network. And the third and last part of those penetration testings is local application testing, right? So basically it's local, global. When it comes to us at Heineken Kraków, as I said, we basically work to make sure that Heineken Kraków is compliant, and this is our responsibility. We here in Kraków, we do have some local applications, so we need to test those if we have some vulnerabilities, some hidden exploits within those local applications that we use. When it comes to global applications that all Heineken entities are using, that's basically a scope of global security teams, right? Here locally at Kraków, for example, we are testing our local applications because those are not in scope of global and are in our scope. As I said, looking for vulnerabilities, some kind of zero-day exploits or different kind of backdoors. So the auditing company is just trying to attack us, right? To attack those applications, and afterwards they know what methods were successful, what methods were not successful, and basically after those penetration tests, we receive a full detailed report of what they found, some critical, high, medium and low risk levels, what to address very quickly, what can be a problem. After we receive such detailed report from auditing company, we send those reports to vendors that are supplying us with those local applications, to our partners and suppliers that managing our network, and basically we are waiting for them to make all the required changes. And when they are done with that, when they say, hey, yes, we have patched that, they send us a report as well. Crucial is retesting phase, right? Because it's not enough to just perform those penetration tests once and to believe our vendors that we've done it. We are trying to check it ourselves, right? So after those penetration tests, they have time to make amendments, and then we start retesting phase. And afterwards, it's very similar, and we receive a detailed report after that phase as well. So basically, that's how it looks like.
Okay, so I see that you've also covered with this a little bit how we are collaborate between looking for our vulnerabilities and also reinforcing those defenses. So maybe now that when you were discussing that about searching, I've also thought about one of the, I think, conferences from Securac. This is, I think, one of the biggest, let's say, space at the moment in Poland in terms of security.
Yeah, that's true.
I recall, I think on one of their conferences, they've shared a QR code. And they've asked to scan that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you maybe been a part of any sort of like this approach in any of your conferences as well, that you were maybe able to attend? Have you seen anything similar?
Yeah. I've attended many of cybersecurity related conference, and yes, a shout out to Securitum company Securac that you've mentioned. We were hosting them last year during cyber security days. So basically, we at Heineken Kraków we were hosting the guests from the global Heineken, and one of the highlights was that just magnificent Securitum session. It was very informative, as you say. Do you remember still that QR code exercise? Yeah. So those guys are really top of the top in Poland. And if you want to be up to date with the security standards, I really recommend to follow them on social media, on X, on Facebook, on the website. They're really professional company. So yeah.
Okay, so maybe as we are slowly getting into an end of the series, so thank you for sharing all of the insights, but maybe one last outline for us. What do you think is, as we know, the cybersecurity never stands still. As you mentioned, you need to continuously develop, explore and learn new things. As those threats evolve, what do you think, what do you see on the horizon that's particularly exciting or important for us, for Heineken Krakow, or for you?
As we've discussed before, those AI tools, right? Basically, we cannot imagine future without using those AI tools. One of the most anticipated developments is the rise of hyper automation in security operations, right? We also always strive to automate security operation, to use advanced technologies like that AI, machine learning, to automate and enhance security process as much as we can, of course within the boundaries of reason, right? Because AI cannot do everything for us, but basically introduction of hyper automation in security operations will for sure improve efficiency, and response times will help a lot our security teams. What else? I think the future will see the developments of new innovative solutions to address emerging threats. Right, this includes advancements in threat detection, for example, response capabilities, maybe even integrating security into all aspects of digital operations on every single level. As during the first podcast we are talking about that DevOps process. So basically integration security into on every step of the way. So that is really exciting, and that will really give us a huge boost. And basically, when I want to talk about the future, I think it's the topic that is very important presently and in the future will be very important. Increased focus on cyber risk understanding. This is very important. So that security awareness area, that education area, because as we talked before, it only takes one person to click a suspicious link, and via lateral movement the entire organization can be down. So it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't matter how sophisticated systems do you have in a company. Using the most futuristic AI tools, machine learning, and everything. But just one user downloads some shady attachments or click on some malicious link, and everything goes in vain. So basically, yes, this technical side, that hyper automation in security operations, innovative solutions as well, but we still need to focus on that education, because education is one of the most important things, because some attacks can be conducted via purely technical means, but some others there always require some action taken from the end user. So I was always repeating that, and I will keep repeating that that education, security awareness is very, very important area within security.
Okay, thank you very much. And as we will be now really wrapping up, I would like to ask you, because there's one thing that I believe not many may expect from a cybersecurity officer, but I know that you are also a singer.
Yeah, I'm quite an amateur vocalist. I'm not that, not a pro or something. But I see where you're coming with this question. And we have in Heineken Kraków, we have our own band. Only our employees are being part of this band. So this is our own Heineken Kraków band. Our name is The Deadlines. We have established the band more than 2 years ago. So till this time we have managed to take part of a few carnival galas, of some picnic events in Kraków. So this is something entirely else than cybersecurity, right? But basically this is my another hobby,
like
something that.
You are saying we haven't done much, but you were playing. You mentioned, I think, before we jumped into this, you mentioned that you played in the Carnival Gala. So actually, you probably have already audience for bigger than some of the beginning or starting bands have ever played before. Because the Carnival is quite a huge one. So kudos from that. Definitely. If you would like to hear the Deadlines at some point, you definitely need to join Heineken. And having said that, thank you, Bartosz, one more time. It was a great honor to have you here, and thank you for this conversation.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here with you, Mateusz. Thank you.
Okay, we hope our listeners are now a little bit more aware of the behind-the-scenes work that keeps our global and local operations safe. So stay tuned for more topics from Heineken's digital world. To stay connected, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and follow Heineken Global Shared Services on LinkedIn. And remember, here at Heineken, we are always looking for rising stars who are ready to make an impact. If you are interested in joining us, you can explore our open positions at heinekenkrakow.pl. We'll be back with more insights from Heineken's agile and digital transformation journey, showing how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. Join us next time to keep learning, growing, and adapting.